If you want to be a successful content creator in 2025, then you need to understand this one term. This one term alone has changed the way that I think about content, and it's allowed me to consistently post every single day across 4 accounts for the last 2 years without burning out or just completely hating the process. The term is content sustainability. That is your ability to repeatedly create high quality content every single day without burning out, without getting stuck with ideation, hating filming, or just hating the entire process of content creation. I'm gonna take you through how James Clear's atomic habits can be applied to content and will allow you to not only consistently create content, but consistently show up and create high performing content without burning out or getting to a point where you just have complete creative burnout or fatigue. These are very common concepts in the industry. The reason being is content creation is highly creative. It requires not only a logical and rational part of your brain, but also a creative side as well. As a result, we end up burning out and using a lot of our creative juices, and we get to a point where we're just looking at a blank page, or in this case, a blank CapCut timeline, and scratching our head and wondering what the next idea we can use to go viral will be. Now, the way I think about this is taking down atomic habits and using some of those atomic habits that James Clear breaks down and building a system around us. Remember, we don't rise to our goals, we fall to our systems. And if we don't have a sustainable system to lean on, ultimately we're not going to be able to create content sustainably either. The first thing we need to understand when we start creating content is that we are going through an identity shift. We don't want to post content, we want to become a great creator. We have to adopt the habits, the traits, and the identity of a fantastic creator. You have to be thinking, how would a creator think? How would they approach their life? How would they schedule their day? And how would they execute on that day every single week? Most people live in outcomes. We live on views, likes, comments, share, and the engagement metrics that Instagram gives us. In reality, great creators focus on the inputs. These are the things that are in their control. Did they film today? Did they script today? Did they edit? Are they creating a high quality and high standard of content that they're happy to put out? The more we can focus on the inputs and what we're doing on a daily basis to move towards our goals, the better the outcome will become. The outcome we cannot always control. Like anything in life, when we put something out there and expect a response from the world, there is an element of luck, chance, and randomness that will occur. If you get obsessed with the outcome, you will get obsessed with the results, and you will be requiring dopamine to fuel your content strategy. Instead, disconnect yourself from the outcome and focus on what you can control. The inputs. The inputs are you getting better at filming? Are you getting better at scripting? Did you put time in your calendar today to film and edit? Did you create a piece of content every single day like you promised? Did you spend time going through modules and understanding and learning content creation skills that are going to improve your content creation journey? This identity shift is key, and I believe the sooner you can adopt this and the sooner you can present yourself in a way that you are a content creator. You do pack a tripod in your bag to get better shots at the gym. You're not relying setting it up on a dumbbell on a bench. Instead, you always carry a tripod. You become known as that person. There's an identity shift that we need to accept with self, but also an identity shift that our environment needs to accept as well. Friends, family, the people around us, as they begin to see you with your tripod, setting it up at the gym, setting it up to film yourself, soon they will adopt that you are shifting an identity. And with an identity shift, they will begin to recognize you as a content creator. The sooner they recognize you as a creator, the better. The identity shift is crucial for your first step of becoming a creator. That is why we say the term becoming. You are going to become the creator that you admire. Adopt their systems and habits and think in the mind of a creator, and you will become a better creator faster. You need to be thinking of, how can I get a better shot? How can I edit this better? How could I improve my scripting? How could I improve my delivery? Zidane, who's inside Amplify, does this amazingly. He adopts the character that he wants to become. Zidane has an alter ego, Abu Zeus. Abu Zeus he adopts and becomes when he is on camera. If you see Zidane prepare for one of his piece to cameras, he has his headphones on, he has 50 Cent blaring, and he embodies the person he is going to become. This is called method acting. And actors in Hollywood use this all the time to shift their identity to the person that they are acting as. This is important when you create your content. You are no longer you and your past identity who was not a content creator. You are now a content creator. Think of the person you are trying to embody. If that is someone delivering a powerful, emotive, storytelling piece of content, then become that person. Embody it. Do what you need to do in terms of your preparation. Don't just turn the camera on at 7 p.m. because you forgot to shoot content all day. Allocate the time and prepare accordingly. Next is to design a cue or trigger. You need to make it obvious. Set a fixed time for filming. I highly recommend scheduling your day out and putting time in your calendar. These should be obvious cues and triggers for you to know that this time is allocated to filming, to editing, to scripting, to all the different components you need in your content creation journey. You can stack this with existing habits that you already do. After I've had my first coffee, I will film my videos. Coffee is already a habit that is built in and a system that's built into your day. If you know that you're never going to miss coffee in the morning, that means if every time you have a coffee, you film a piece of content, you're never going to miss filming a piece of content again. I also recommend keeping tripods, mics, all of the items required for content creation visible. The more visible they are, the more daily reminders you're going to have that you need to film and execute content. This is also part of shifting your identity. You are now a content creator who carries around a tripod, who has mics in their bag, who has the right equipment readily available to them. Remember, if your environment doesn't remind you, you will forget. Attach it to habits that you already have and make these cues and triggers as obvious as possible. Next, add a craving, aka make content creation more attractive. Link your content to a bigger why or goal. If you can unpack why you want to be successful as a content creator and why you want to build your audience, this will help remind you and create motives beyond just shooting that piece of content for the day. The more we can attach it to a bigger why and a larger philosophy of why we are putting in effort and building these systems to be successful, the easier it becomes to deliver on them every single day. I'd highly recommend joining a group or pod for group accountability. This is something we outlay in Amplify, and I think part of the reason why we are so successful, because we have the group mentality of a whole. You get to see results flooding in from other members. You get to join weekly calls. You're surrounded by like-minded people with a similar mission and goal. We also encourage people to share their why for creating content, and we ask them the hard questions when they begin. Understanding why you want to create content is going to allow you to build discipline and not just motivation to complete your goals. We also like to gamify the experience. As people post content into the community, they move up the rankings and leaderboard. This allows a gamification approach. As they create more content, they get a positive feedback loop. This is the craving and motivation and desire that is required to instill and build great habits. Ultimately, you won't stay consistent with only internal rewards. You need some external reward system. The best place to find external reward systems is to be in a group of like-minded people that share the same end outcome. As you post consistently, they will give you that external feedback and reward to keep yourself going. Our job inside Amplify is the belief that no creator should be left behind. If we can help creators just hold on for one more post and stay consistent one more time, that may be the difference between them skyrocketing and going viral and them never breaking through the 1,000 view barrier. Ultimately, people don't stay disciplined without an aligned purpose. If you have that higher why and purpose that you're adhering to, the more likely you are to stick with your goals and head in the right direction. Next, you want to simplify the response, aka make it easy. Use a 2-minute rule. An example of this is lowering the barrier of entry. A lot of people enter content and they see highly curated, highly edited content that looks awesome, but they don't have the tools or the skill to achieve it themselves. Lower the barrier to entry and pick a format that you can consistently stick with every single day. This is about lowering the barrier and saying, if you had to post every day, what format would you adopt? Not what is your goal format or what is the favorite content you like to consume, because if that's highly edited cinematographic style content, but you have no professional camera setup nor the ability to edit in something like Premiere Pro, it's going to be unrealistic for you to stick to. You need to lower the barrier to entry and allow yourself to build up the confidence and skills to get to this point. My recommendation is piece to camera, Snapchat method, where you're doing a talking head and editing it either in CapCut or in Instagram. Lowering the barrier to entry is going to make it easy for you to create content every single day. Once you're creating every single day, these skills and consistency will compound to make you a better creator. Ultimately, our brains are very good at resisting hard things. We always want to choose the path of least resistance. The more we can provide and lower the barrier to do this, the more successful we will become. Next is to create an instant reward. Make it satisfying. We're fortunate that Instagram has this built in. We're very lucky with that. When we post, we get those instant dopamine feedbacks from the platform. But if we build this up too much, we are expecting larger amounts of dopamine to come. The way that dopamine works is that once we hit past the threshold, for example, our first 100 likes, we then expect it with the next post, and the next post. I recommend taking dopamine back into your control and building a habit tracker. A simple habit tracker that you can tick off every time you post gives you a little sense of achievement and reward as you move towards your goals. Celebrate your streaks and posts by posting it into a community of like-minded people. This is one of the most important things that I instill inside Amplify. Find a way to track your successful habits and make sure that you're ticking them off as they occur. Reward progress weekly. The best type of progress is to zoom out in weeks, months, and years and see how far we have come. This can be tracked in days, but ultimately we want to zoom out and give ourselves a larger time frame because that's where the results really begin to stack and show. Progress feels good, and we can use this when we're on an upward momentum. When we're feeling good, post more, lean into that momentum, but we don't want to tie ourselves just to the outputs. Reward yourself for the input of showing up every single day and being consistent. This is the most important metric to track and the most important way to hold yourself accountable. If you just track likes and views, you are going to be beholden to the algorithm. You're going to be searching for the next dopamine hit, and you're going to be demotivated if you don't have this linear growth, which I can tell you, having been in content creation for 2 years across 4 different accounts, it is never a linear path. It comes in high highs and then levels off and then high highs. We don't have a consistent linear path. As a result, you don't want to rely on the platform for dopamine. It will leave you chasing likes and views and not focusing on what's most important, which is improving at the inputs. Build yourself a system. One of the most important things that we instill in Amplify is giving you a system that you can rely on. These are things like content planners, ideation, filming, and editing tools that will enable you to be successful on your content creation journey. The more we can fall back on our systems and not rely on our goals for motivation, the more successful we will become. Your goals are intentions, but your systems are where the results come. Every top creator out there has a replicatable system and structure that they use to be successful. The more you can tap into these existing systems that are out there, the sooner you will fast track your results. Ultimately, like anything creative, we have to build our own system and adapt it to ourselves. But having the structure from someone else is going to set us up for success and shortcut a lot of the wins that they would have taken years to develop. Using these 4 laws of cue, craving, response, and reward, you can build yourself to become a better content creator. Remember, this is about becoming the best content creator you can. It's not about gaining likes or views, it's about improving at the base skill. If you improve and continuously stack days to compound at getting better at the skill, you will be successful at your end goal. If you would like to access a free mini course on how to initially shift your identity and begin building some of these habits, I will leave a link to a free mini course in the bio of this video. I highly recommend reading the entire of James Clear's Atomic Habits. It's a very useful book for stacking any habits, including content creation. Once you've read the book, apply his laws to content creation to help build yourself a system to remain consistent and stack days rather than focusing on the output and end result. If you haven't already watched it, there is another video on documentation and authority, which is one of the first things you need to understand in your content journey. This is about applying your positioning and understanding what your voice and tone of voice should be in your content creation journey. I recommend checking that out here.